gonna go to the misogyny. I mean, clearly we have seen some of it, but it's important to showcase the more explicit ways in which they would be living in this misogynistic society. So the order of nature is for women to obey men as a wife and a mother. Men and women from good families shouldn't feel any sexual desire. And the funny thing is that women would actually follow this rigid lifestyle, while men wouldn't, because the rules only apply for women. The mission of the wife was to give birth and to educate the children. In contrast, the mission of the whore was to satisfy the physical needs of the man. Men could have the second woman as long as she didn't belong to the same social class. Beautiful, no? Like, you have to be this angelic version only for the man to go to the opposite so that he can be satisfied. And who cares about the needs of the woman? But as long as she's the main woman, there shouldn't be a problem. And this leads us to the prostitutes. There is going to be a high number of them at the time, particularly in England. And this prostitute, probably I will have to make these small cuts. I don't think YouTube will accept it. So if you see random cuts on the word, it's because of that. So anyway, this type of woman, I would call it like maybe pros. So the pros was necessary to maintain the order and to avoid a profusion in the moral society. Because instead of have like an equal balanced society, we must have extremes. And nowadays some countries really love their extremes. But let's continue. Now, even though it was seen as something necessary, pros was seen as the women's criminal structure. So you have them as criminals, but you have men, as in men are allowed to go to this criminal society. Anyway, we're in the medieval times. So, well, actually, I think we're now in the Victorian. The pros was the only link between the different social classes. It was, yes, otherwise they wouldn't socialize with one another. So syphilis entered the picture, and there were two judgments that appeared with it: the moral and the woman. The moral, because it was badly seen for men to be having sex outside marriage, and the women because they were the ones carrying the disease. Even though they could also die, they could suffer the exact same consequences as the men that were having it. But you see, logic doesn't apply. So there were like a couple of paintings that were created, and so anyway, the problem is that it wasn't only the pros, but it was also the sexually liberated woman. Of course, the conclusion they reach is that these women are the moral and physical decay of the men that visited them. Not the man, also spreading that disease to the countless of women they were having the union. So it's in the street where the artist and the pros encounter one another, and we will see several paintings done in this matter. Right now we're seeing a Rob's painting, and it showcases how women are seen as the carried of unaliveness. To be honest, even though obviously I don't agree with the message of the painting, I I like the ingenuity of it, how it is like a skull wearing a mask as a woman, and then there is a man that is behind her. I personally really like this part that the man is behind her, because it's like the man is still going after her. Yes, it can be because she's wearing this mask, but the man is looking for her nonetheless.